before we start with the video, I am going to show you guys the bump. Significantly lower from the last time you guys probably saw it, but here it is. Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you guys are new here, my name is Blanca, and today's video is going to be a recap of my 32 to 34 weeks of pregnancy. I know it's been a long time since my last one, so there's been a bunch of updates, a lot of things that have been going on. So if you guys are interested, then definitely keep on watching. Currently, as I am filming this, I am 34 weeks and 3 days. I was hoping to film an update at 32 weeks when I had my appointment then, which was like 2 weeks ago, but everything got really hectic and I just didn't have the time or couldn't find a time to film an update. So here we are. The baby is the size of a cantaloupe, so about 4 pounds or so. So the baby is getting pretty big. And according to the Baby Center app, the baby can now see the color red. It is piling on fat, which is a good thing because that is what's going to help the baby to regulate its temperature, especially once the baby is born. And if the baby is born anywhere between 34 to 37 weeks, the baby will usually do fine. They may spend a little bit of time in the NICU, maybe a couple of days to a couple of weeks, but overall they generally do fine as any other baby that is born full term. I haven't gained nor lost any weight. I've been at a plateau for quite some time now. I think about 2 weeks ago they said that my weight was at 167, and then I weighed myself this morning. I was at 166.6. So I usually stay within 164 to 167. That is my range, and I just don't worry too much about it. It's something that doesn't occupy any space in my mind, really. I think that because I don't weigh myself every single day or worry about that, it's not something that it's really of a concern, and neither for my providers. So, you know, I'm just at where I was before I got pregnant. As far as symptoms goes, I have one that has returned, and that is the carpal tunnel for my right hand. It will fall asleep if I'm holding something for far too long. And I know it's very counterproductive to have Riley fall asleep on top of my arm when we go to sleep at night, but it is the only position that she finds comfortable, as weird as it sounds, to fall asleep. I don't know, maybe it's reassuring for her to have my arm underneath her. I don't know, but it is the only way that she falls asleep, so I do try to minimize that as much as possible. And of course, wear my brace for my hand throughout the day so that I am not experiencing that quite as often. Cravings, it's been about the same: water, sweets, all that good stuff. I do want to mention that the baby is moving quite a lot, more so at night than in the morning, and I fear that he's going to be a night owl just like his sister, waking up a lot more frequently in the night and sleeping a lot throughout the day. So hopefully the baby, once he is born, will kind of, you know, be a little bit more active in the morning and sleep a little bit better throughout nights. As I mentioned earlier, I did have my 32-week appointment with my provider where I discussed whether or not I can have a TOLAC/Vbac. A TOLAC is a trial of labor, which is a planned or an attempt for a Vbac. The physician did review Riley's medical records and why I had a C-section with her, and did deem me a good candidate for a TOLAC/Vbac, which when I heard those words come out of her mouth, it was like a weight was lifted off of my shoulders. It was like, I can breathe and calm down now. It's one less thing I have to worry about. I don't know, like going into that appointment, I was really worried and concerned that she was going to tell me no. So once I heard those words, I was so relieved. Then I can have the opportunity to attempt a TOLAC. She did have one concern, and that is the fact that I only dilated up to 2 centimeters, which for them, that is not active labor. Active labor is from 6 centimeters and above. So because I had a C-section, I can't be administered Cytotec, which kind of helps you start your labor. It's the induction medication, I guess. And Cytotec is often or not related to having a uterine rupture, which is one of the risks of having a TOLAC/Vbac. So because of that, I can't be administered that medication. I have to start labor on my own. However, I can be administered Pitocin, which will help accelerate the labor once I am fully active and in there. Some of the other factors that doctors do take into consideration when you are trying to have a TOLAC/Vbac is one, the amount of C-sections that you've had. Usually it's 1 or 2. And the amount of time that has passed between that C-section and pregnancy and your current one. Usually it has to be a minimum of 18 months because anything closer to that increases your chances of a uterine rupture. So the more time has passed, the more likely you are able to even have a TOLAC or Vbac. Another one is not an excessive amount of weight gain, whether or not you had a stalled labor versus going on your own, which means like if you stop dilating for whatever reason, or if you never went into labor on your own, then they might not want you to have a TOLAC or Vbac. But if you progressed okay, there was no other medical interventions and you went into labor on your own, then that is a factor in your favor. Another factor that they look into, and I think it is a crucial one, is the way your incision was made, whether it was transverse, which is side to side, or a vertical up to down. The one that they from the jump say that they're not even going to discuss it with you is a vertical incision, just because you have a higher risk of having a uterine rupture occur with that type of incision as opposed to a transverse one. I love that my doctors were very thorough and in detail, and of course supportive of me even having a TOLAC or a Vbac, or even having that as a consideration. And the fact that they still went over the pros, cons, and risks, even though I had a little bit of knowledge of the topic, I love that they still went over it with me. They even gave me a consent to sign so that they can document that I know what are the risks with having a TOLAC and a Vbac. I know there are doctors who are not supportive of having that done if you've had a prior C-section, and apparently there are doctors as well who don't even discuss the risks and the cons of having a TOLAC or a Vbac. And this is something that happened to a YouTuber on here. Her YouTube channel name is Life with Marina, and she had a successful Vbac. However, she ended up having a uterine rupture, and there was a lot of medical negligence, at least in my opinion. That's what I believe happened to her, which led to a lot of other medical complications. So if you guys want to check out her video, I definitely recommend it. I will link it down in the description bar below, as well as in the iCards, just because it helps give a full scope, a full picture of having or attempting to have a TOLAC or a Vbac. Not everything is, rainbows and butterflies. So you definitely want to know everything that can happen if you're trying to attempt to have a TOLAC or a Vbac. And if you are trying to have a TOLAC or a Vbac, definitely speak with your provider so that you know the risks, the pros and cons for your specific body, because everybody is different. Also, let me know in the comment section below of any at-home remedies or natural remedies that I can use to induce labor naturally. I've been told that, I think it's called evening primrose oil or primrose pills, and raspberry leaf tea are very good at softening the cervix. But my only concern is with the primrose pills or oil. Just searching on it online, it did state that it can stall and prolong labor, which is something that I don't want because it works against me having a TOLAC or Vbac. So definitely let me know in the comment section below of any good at-home remedies aside from those two that I can utilize, take, or even do so that I can induce labor naturally and just go and have a good active labor. What am I nervous or scared about? Well, with COVID-19 still being very prevalent around here, I am only allowed one support person. However, most of you guys already know that Miguel will be at some sort of training during that time, so I will be going into labor and delivery alone while we have a family member come and take care of Riley. I was considering having a midwife or a doula. However, because we have to pay out of pocket, it's something that is not in the card for us right now. And there is a little bit of hope in me that he will be allowed to come back and be present at the birth of our child. So I wanted to leave that one person support option open in case that is a possibility. So we've done the best that we can. We've made the proper arrangements, and the things that we can control, we have made the decisions on it already. And I don't know, I think because of that, I feel more at ease and at peace with things. I know that when I first announced it a couple of videos ago, I was really emotional about it, and rightfully so. But as of right now, like I said, I'm at peace. I feel very calm. However, that can change once I am in active labor, of course. You know, I can totally be freaking out and getting nervous about things, but I'm really trying to stay calm and positive and just remain at peace, because I know that is going to help me, you know, just go into labor naturally, help with everything, and just, especially with like pain, you know, being calm and positive apparently is a very good thing to be in a state of, so that, you know, it's not as painful, or your cervix can actually dilate. At least that's what I've read and, you know, been told. So I'm trying to keep myself that way. But like I said, who knows, on the day that I go into labor, it can be completely different. So I don't know. I just, you know, think that we've done everything that we can, and everything else, the universe and God will take care of it. So that is it for this video. I hope that you guys did enjoy this 32 through 34 week pregnancy update. I know it was kind of a lot, especially on the TOLAC Vbac portion, but I figured that I would give you guys enough information as possible that was provided to me, so that you guys could have some knowledge of the topic if you are considering having a TOLAC or a Vbac. If you guys have any natural remedies to induce labor, please leave them down in the comments section below. If you are not subscribed, I hope that you hit that subscribe button. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!